So this is a response to Brittany's official's follow-up video on her video about the lesbian being denied communion. First of all, let me just say thank you for linking my video in the follow-up video, because I often feel on YouTube as if I'm drowning in a sea of Ray William Johnsons and talking to a brick wall, as my videos get rarely any views. So thank you for acknowledging my existence. And I'm not saying that like sarcastically. That's actually good. So thanks. But I just want to respond to the points she made on this video, which was a 17-minute video. So my video is probably going to be pretty long too, about communities, or the reality of communities, in her mind at least. Now, she spent a lot of time at the beginning talking about how some of the other responders called into question her status as a lesbian and an atheist. I did not do that in my original video, and I'm not going to do that here. I am here more to engage your ideas than to question your backgrounds. So I'm just going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you're an atheist and you're not a new lesbian, whatever the fuck that means. And yeah, so you spend the first half of the video talking about the conflicts you have with the atheist community and the gay community, and how the community guidelines, or the community rules, as you state them, often create conflicts between you and other members of that community. And yet you strictly criticize those who, within the Catholic community, go against the strict rules set up by that community. So I think there is a bit of a contradiction there. Now, I think you would probably respond with something along the lines of, well, the Catholic Church is an institution. But I don't see so what? So what if it's an institution? What gives that institution jurisdiction over the private lives of every single Catholic? They can say all they want. We are the final word on the Bible, and God doesn't necessarily make it true, especially when you are dealing with something as personal to people as religion. You basically criticize people for picking and choosing parts of the religion that they like. And, I have 3 words for you over that. I think you know what they are already. So, yeah, get over yourself. Everyone picks and chooses. It's human fucking nature. When people read some sort of moral guideline, no matter how strict and how clear it is, they're going to pick and choose, especially if it contradicts itself as much as the Bible. The Catholic Church itself picks and chooses. They obviously are on board with God's disapproval of homosexuality, and even in this case, the latest pope, contraception. However, they are not in agreement with Jesus and his views on modesty and not wearing your religion on your sleeve. Just look at the way some of these people are dressed. Does it really look like they're not wearing their religion on their sleeve? Come on. Be real. Be a little bit realistic here. If you're going to talk about the reality of the communities, you should also talk about the reality of this institution and the way it itself practices its beliefs and expects other people to. Everyone picks and chooses. So your little pet peeve is completely irrational, and it's drawing lines of conflict where there don't need to be. It's because you're an atheist. I don't see why you keep drawing this line between lukewarm Catholics and full Catholics. I don't see how it's relevant to your life at this point, which is why I think some of the other people in the other videos called into question your status as an atheist. The second reason, I think, is because you adopt a lot of the argument structure of conservative Christians in the United States. Not necessarily the rhetoric, but your argument structure. And by this I mean, you bring up religious freedom. Fucking spare me, okay? None of our videos brought up religious freedom. None of our videos said that the priest should be arrested for what he did. I do not believe that at all. I think he has the right to exclude someone from communion, just as someone hosting a Monopoly game has a right to exclude black people if they want to. That does not make them any less of a douchebag, however. And that was the point of my original video. So to bring up religious freedom and draw this false line, putting yourself on one side of the debate and us on the other implicitly, even though you didn't directly say that, it's steering the conversation in a place that it does not need to go. And I think the same thing goes for your little your comments about religious tolerance. Tolerance, obviously, I would put that in the same realm as religious freedom. I tolerate the priest to the point where I support his right to do what he wants to do, but I don't tolerate him in the way that I'm not going to call him a douchebag. He is a douchebag for what he did. He. Then you go on to say, well, you don't go into a Catholic church and flip up your middle fingers. Again, I agree with you there. I don't think anyone in the other videos said otherwise. And most importantly, the woman in the article did not do that. You keep saying over and over that she did and that she was, making a scene. When you read the article, she just went off to the side and was upset. The priest marched off. And you finally acknowledge this in this video. The reason we called into question the fact that whether you read the article or not is because you did not even bring it up in your original video, despite the fact that was what most of the article was about. It was saying this is not a gay... The guy at the end said this is not a gay rights issue. This is about the conduct of one priest. In fact, the brother at the end of the article even said that whether a priest should give someone communion or not is a complex issue that needs discussing. So your video was focused on something which was left open in the article, and yet you completely failed to acknowledge something, the real focus of the article, which was the conduct of the priest. But I'll give you the benefit of the doubt again. You read the article. You're an atheist. You're a lesbian. I'm not going to call into question that. I'm here to engage your ideas. And so I'm just going to conclude by saying, look, communities are not hierarchical structures, no matter how much the Catholic Church says they are. Communities are groups of people interacting within the framework of a geographical location or genetic commonalities or common beliefs. Now, common beliefs are not a hierarchical structure, as I've been saying. Common beliefs are a multifaceted Venn diagram. It's human nature to pick and choose certain beliefs and to reject others. People who are part of a community may share certain beliefs and reject others. As I just gave examples of the Catholic Church and other people. So to suggest that the Catholic community must be based on this hierarchical structure set by the Catholic Church, it's completely unnecessary, I think, from your point of view as an atheist. I think you're part of a community, whether you like it or not, in many ways. I'm not in agreement with all of the atheist community. I don't like Richard Dawkins very much. He in The God Delusion, he makes logical fallacy after logical fallacy. For instance, he compares the denial of evolution to the Holocaust denial, despite the fact that they are based on two completely different ideologies, one on archaic values, the other on conspiracy theories developed in the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries, and directed for the sole purpose of hatred of one group of people. Two different things, terrible analogy. He makes another terrible analogy where he says that atheists today are similar to gay people in the 50s. I've never been drawn into a paddy wagon, beaten, and thrown in jail for my, lack of belief in a god. Maybe if that happens, then I'll agree with him. Otherwise, it's a fucking terrible analogy. Same, worse than Dawkins is Bill Maher. I mean, this guy is just the biggest arrogant douchebag I've really ever come across in the atheist community. He supports SOPA despite literally saying that he has no knowledge of the bill. And there was another video where he told a Muslim guy, he said, I'm not going to say love it or leave it, but if you don't like this country, why do you live here? So he's basically saying, I'm not going to say love it or leave it, but love it or leave it. The guy is a hypocrite to the highest order. I do not like him at all. So the point I'm trying to make is I don't share the belief of every atheist, or I don't share the belief of the people that claim to call themselves leaders of the atheist community, but I'm still part of that community. When I went to a atheist student union at my school, and I was friendly with most of the people. There was definitely something bonding us together. I was raised in more lax Jewish community, and I'm not religiously Jewish at all. I religiously consider myself an atheist. I don't support the government of Israel right now, especially now that they're trying to send us to Iran. At the same time, however, I do share the ethnic bonds and in the religious experience of other Jewish people, and as a result, a lot of my friends happen to be Jewish. It's not like I'm consciously deciding it. There is a commonality between us that makes us part of a community, and so there is a distinction between communities are not hierarchies; they're Venn diagrams, and that's really all I'm gonna say.